Well, troops in Iraq are expected to be home by year's end, but we're now learning the Obama administration will reportedly beef up our military presence in the Persian Gulf after the Iraq troop withdrawal. According to the New York Times, that could mean putting combat forces in Kuwait to be ready to respond to potential security concerns in Iraq and potentially Iran. This new plan also calls for sending naval warships to international waters within that region. A number of senators from the Armed Services Committee are calling for a hearing on the Iraq withdrawal, saying it could compromise both the U.S. and Iraqi national security interests. Joining us now is one of those members, Senator David Vitter of Louisiana. Senator, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Shannon. Thanks for the invite.
All right, so you're calling for, you've asked at least Senator Carl Levin, who heads up that committee, to have a hearing about this. But with the president being commander-in-chief, isn't this solely his decision?
Well, it is. He's commander-in-chief, but I think Congress has very important oversight responsibility, and certainly it's appropriate that the Armed Services Committee look hard at it. We're in charge of authorizing actions by the military, and also Congress is in charge of funding that. And we have some strong concerns that this complete pullout virtually overnight is really going to hurt our interests there. Everybody wants our men and women in uniform to get home as soon as possible, but we need to be careful that the gains we've built over several years at great sacrifice don't just crater.
All right, I want to read a little bit of that letter that you sent in expressing those concerns. It says, as you know, the complete withdrawal of our forces from Iraq is likely to be viewed as a strategic victory by our enemies in the Middle East, especially the Iranian regime. Every senior military commander we have heard from on repeated visits to Iraq has stated that U.S. national security interests and the enduring needs of Iraq's military require a continued presence of U.S. troops in Iraq beyond 2011 to safeguard the gains that we and our Iraqi partners have made. Can you tell us anything more about who those senior military commanders would be? Would you expect them to testify and in any way be in conflict with what the president's decided to do?
Well, that's why we want to have the hearing, to have that sort of discussion. But I don't think it's any secret that the military leadership, particularly those on the ground in Iraq, think we need some smaller continued presence, and that we really risk giving up all of our gains if we pull out this dramatically. Again, everybody wants our men and women in uniform home safely, but none of us should want those gains, which were at great sacrifice, American treasure and blood, quite frankly, to crater and to go down the drain.
Well, the one man who knows why and how he made the decision is the president himself. Would you attempt to call him or subpoena him before the committee?
I think that would be relatively unprecedented, probably not. But again, we're very concerned that that announcement was perhaps more about politics and national security, and we need to really look at our long-term interests. Clearly, the plan you just outlined for troops being stationed elsewhere in the Middle East is pretty much an admission of the danger I'm talking about. We should be talking about it, looking at it very carefully.
All right, Senator David Vitter, we will watch and see if that hearing comes to fruition. We will cover it as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shannon.